So this story happened when I was a kid. My parents were divorced and my older sister had a baby she was always pawning off on me. My dad and stepmother showed up at our house while my mother was at work. They had decided to take us to the fair. It would have been great, but I had my 1-year-old niece with me that I was supposed to babysit. I told my dad it was not a good idea because I was babysitting. He insisted though, and basically I was forced to go and take my niece. Once we got to the fair, my dad and stepmother gave my sister, my stepbrother, and me $20 and told us to go have fun. I should mention here I was 12 years old and they still expected me to watch my niece. There's not much you can do at the fair with a baby though, so I went to one of the snack trucks and bought ice cream for us both. That was when I first noticed the man. He was heavy set, probably in his 40s, and he was staring at us. There was something about the way he was staring that freaked me out. I was not sure if it was me or my niece he was interested in, but either way I was freaked out. I told myself I was overreacting and got up and walked off to carrying my niece. He followed. I walked all around the fair looking for my dad, my stepmother, my stepbrother, my sister. I couldn't find any of them anywhere, and the whole time this man followed. I had to pee but didn't want to go into the bathroom. I was afraid of him following us in. I ditched my niece's stroller because I don't know exactly. I just want her in my arms, and the stroller was slowing us down. So this had been going on for about 3 hours, and it was now dark outside. I was terrified and scared for my niece and myself. I kept trying to lose the guy by turning down different paths, but he just kept following. Finally, I saw a man in a security guard outfit. I ran up to him, full on crying now. I told him I couldn't find my family, and a strange man was following us. When I went to point the man out, he was gone. The security guard took us to a tent. I think it was a first aid tent. They kept telling me they could watch my niece and for me to relax. I was very shaken, but I refused to let her out of my sight. They had me call my mother, who screamed at me for going while I was supposed to be babysitting. She told me I was grounded and irresponsible. Finally, my dad and stepmother were found and brought to get us. They were also mad at me for calling my mother. They took us home, and when I got there, I told my mother about the man. I wasn't grounded no more, but her and my father went to war over visitations. Just a couple years before, 2 girls had gone missing at that fair and were never found. My mother was beyond pissed and made us go and then ditched us. My father, until the day he died, had the attitude with me about this event and said I overreacted. To this day, I hate fairs. This happened a long time ago, about 10 years or so, but I never forgot about it, and it still gives me the chills. I was in my early 20s. At the time, I had a female dog named Nina, a boxer. Nina was very energetic, so we took her to long walks around the neighborhood, usually at the end of the day around 4 to 6 p.m., when it wasn't too hot, but not too dark either. One thing you must know about Nina is that she loved people. She did not get along with other dogs, but every time she saw someone walking by us, she would shake her tail and want to get closer and ask for pets. One day, we went on walks as per usual. Everything was fine for the most of it. I saw a few other dogs tutor walking their dogs and an old couple sitting in front of their house chatting. And then, when we were alone, Nina started growling. One thing I didn't mention, I'm graduated in biology and specialize in animal behavior. At the time this story happened, I was finishing college, so yeah, I used to pay a lot of attention to my dog's behaviors, and quite a lot of knowledge on dog behavior because it was my favorite subject in the area. Dogs can see movement much better than us, so things like an eyebrow raise or a little tension on the shoulders they can easily pick up. So of course, a dog growling doesn't sound that weird. Nina did growl to other dogs and cats when she saw them, but this was different. It was very low, and all the fur of her back was up. Her entire behavior was of alarm. And then I noticed she was looking back while growling. So I looked behind me, in the distance, like a block away. I saw a man. This made me even more alert because Nina never growled to anyone in the streets before. She never stopped walking by my side or tried to pull away, but she kept this slow growl and kept looking at this man. I started to freak out and turned the next block. She stopped for a second, but when we reached the next corner, she started growling again, and he was there again. He didn't try to talk, call me, and his expression was serious, kinda emotionless. I kept walking in random patterns, and he was always there. This man was definitely following me. At some point, our distance started to shrink, and Nina's growls was getting stronger. So when I turned the next corner, I just started running while he couldn't see me. I ran down about 4 blocks in the direction of an area I knew had more traffic and people around. I stopped to get my breath and looked behind me. He was far away, right in the corner where I started running. Just there, standing and looking at me. Nina was looking at him, still with her alarmed posture. After a minute, he turned around and went away in the same direction. At that moment, Nina finally relaxed. I kept paying attention to Nina's behavior the entire way back to my house later, but she was just her normal happy self. I told this story to my parents and a few neighbors, and no one seemed to know any man that looked like him. I never saw that man again, and Nina never behaved like that again either, so I'll never know who he was or why he was following me, but I definitely do not regret trusting Nina's instincts.